Foster parents all over the world bear their cross of love. These people cannot be indifferent to seeing abandoned children growing up lacking their own family care and love, and they take full responsibility for their fate. When they accept children into their lives, they love their adopted children as their biological parents would. Still, unlike the birth parents, they live in constant anxiety that these little people will be taken away from them because of the false documents, laws, and court decisions. So foster mothers and fathers will understand the ordeal Sarah and Stuart went through at the adoption trial of the two boys and why the older boy's words made them cry. Sarah and Stuart weren't even 20 years old when they fell in love. The charming girl had many admirers, but she'd been dreaming of becoming a foster mom and helping children in difficult situations for years. And when she shared her plans for life, it immediately put guys off. She liked Stuart so much that she was afraid to tell him how she imagined her family life. But out of the blue, he said he dreamed of helping children, creating an island of peace and security for them in his home. As soon as they married in 2014, they went straight to getting a license to foster and care for children. Soon they were receiving calls from a social welfare agency asking them to welcome a few babies. The system in America is that children with problems with their parents or residents are placed in temporary foster care until the issue is resolved. But this was not an easy task. The young couple faced a long and grueling process. It wasn't easy to become foster parents. Sarah and Stuart had to undergo several procedures that lasted several months. The methods included background checks, fingerprinting, home visits, social checks, and classes. Sarah and Stuart were told they officially met all the requirements to become foster parents and didn't want to waste any time. They immediately agreed initially to work exclusively on short-term and emergency cases. It seemed like the perfect way to learn a new way of life, but destiny had a different plan. The first baby stayed with them for a week. He got a lot of attention and care, and the couple gained experience in childcare. Soon another child arrived on the doorstep, which caused such tenderness, pity, and love that it was impossible to separate from him. It was a 3-year-old boy who stayed for a week, then a month, and 3 months later, social services offered to accept his older brother. Without hesitation, Sarah and her husband opened their door to the brother of the baby boy, without whom they could hardly already imagine their lives. Meeting the brothers brought Sarah and Stuart to tears. Michael's 10-year-old brother took him into his arms, a hug that lasted a few minutes. The day was filled with excitement for both brothers. Sarah couldn't remember the last time she had seen Michael in such a happy mood. Watching how well the two brothers were interacting with each other, Sarah suddenly thought about the fact that they could be separated again at any moment. Sarah immediately realized that the brothers had to be together. She couldn't live with the grief that might come from having to repeat goodbyes. For both boys, returning to their biological family wasn't an option. It was then that Sarah and Stuart thought about adopting children. The couple decided to discuss this with the boys. When they started talking to the older one, it was immediately apparent what they had to do. The boy was not an ordinary teenager causing difficulties in communication and education. He was the most sympathetic and compassionate person they'd met on their journey through life. He was a good student, dreamed of becoming a doctor, and had a passion for basketball. He was not only respectful towards his younger brother, but also welcomed with a broad smile the other children who sometimes lived with them. His talent for communication was undeniable. The love and affection Sarah and Stuart felt for the boys differed significantly from what they had ever felt with other children. Many live through transitions from one home to another throughout their childhood and then find themselves as adults without any support. Sarah didn't want her brothers to end up this way, and she knew she had to do something. Being a foster parent's not a walk in the park. Providing a home for children from complex families can be challenging. Nevertheless, there often comes a terrible moment when foster children have to move on, leaving marks on their hearts. Sarah was well aware that this could happen to her and the boys. The brothers would face the heartbreaking possibility of leaving Sarah and Stuart's home, which would also guarantee the separation of the brothers later on. They began the adoption process, but the journey was far more torturous than expected. Sarah was feeling the fear of her children being taken away from her. The case took 3 years to process. Weeks turned into months and months into years. Dressed in their best clothes, the young family approached the courthouse. Emotions overwhelmed them. Fear, excitement, hope, doubt, and above all, there was love. Today, they would officially become a family, or they would be separated. During the trial, the judge asked the boys how they felt about their adoptive parents. As the boys spoke, it didn't take long for the judge to make a decision. Sarah and Stuart were now officially the brothers' adoptive parents. Suddenly, the older boy took the gavel, hit the table with it, and spoke.
They all love them. Yeah, we all love them. Like, our whole family is like the best thing we ever had. Oh, boy, that's great.
I'm glad to have these people.
That's really good.
But he didn't stop there. His following words made Sarah cry and many others had tears in their eyes. "If I could ask for anything in the world, I would just choose to love these people for the rest of my life." He and his brother were no longer unwanted, abandoned orphans. Thank you for watching. If you like this story, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell button. All the best, and see you soon.